we can build walls, floors, stairs, or tracks with the C key. So we're going to go ahead and hit C, and we're going to build a floor. Now, this floor, we're going to go, it's a lot like the other placeable structures in that we can go ahead and use the K and J keys to make it, or K and H keys, I'm sorry, to make it bigger. And then we're just going to kind of, you know, fill it all up. Now, I'm just going to keep hitting you. This is as big a floor as we can make for now, I guess. We'll make 2 floors like this. We'll make one this wide, and we're going to have it be made out of obsidian. We need 30, and we only have 40 on hand. So we're going to need to dig a little bit more obsidian. That's fine, though. And we're just going to go ahead and if we hit Shift Enter, we'll select all. So that's going to go ahead and be built. And if we go ahead and hit, go back out to the thing and hit Q, we need a masonry. I think we should have a mason. So let's go ahead and start, and let's see if we can get a mason to come on the scene and start building the floor. If that works well, then we'll go through the other thing. If not, well then don't worry about it, because we'll have someone go through. In fact, let me show you something. I'm going to pause. I'm going to open up, go over here to the DF Starter Pack, Utilities, and I'm going to launch Dwarf Therapist. This is something really important. I think this is probably going to end up in its own episode when I edit this, because it's a big deal. Dwarf Therapist makes it, although it's kind of complicated in the game, it makes it much easier to go through and figure out what your dwarves can do and assign them new tasks. Dwarves have skills like any characters in any game, and the more they do something, the better they get at it. What we're going to do here is make sure that there is a masonry dwarf. It appears to be someone who's sleeping right now, as you can see from their current job. Cole Ubidkin, who is also not a miner, so should be good. Not a miner, and not a hunter, and not our woodcrafter. So Call here will definitely be someone that can help us out with masonry and get those things done. Fantastic, Call. I can't wait until you wake up. We're going to go ahead and leave that open right now, but you can find all sorts of things that we can do. We can basically scan through everybody's attributes, and we can figure out all their labors. We can also assign new labors. For example, if we wanted to make Call know the skill woodcrafting, actually, let's pick something here. Let's see. Do we have a mechanic? That's always something good to check. We have 2 mechanics. Ooh, that'll be cool. That's awesome. Okay, how about pump operators, siege operators, all sorts of amazing things. You can see just the pure breadth and depth of jobs available here is really exciting. We're going to go ahead and leave that alone for a sec. And we're going to click over here. Sorry. Get focused back over here. Yeah, perfect. As you can see, we're starting to build a floor. Now, what we'd also like to do is make sure that we are getting rid of all of our waste. Now, as you can see in the stock room, our cats are doing a great job of finding vermin and killing them. We have a rat here that tried to go and eat our food. Amazing that this is actually a thing, right? But it's true. It is a thing, and I think that's really cool. So let's go ahead and designate a zone. And let's put it right, I don't know, where should we put it? Right over here, I think. And we're going to basically go ahead and make a big zone right here, and we're going to call this a garbage jump. So that's just basically where we're going to toss things that are dead. And that'll be, that's not a very big dump, but that's fine for now. So go ahead and take a moment to just appreciate how cool this is. Look at all these amazing things that are happening now. Oh man, it's so cool to see, I think, because we're just got this little thing, and all sorts of stuff is happening. You can't even tell where we embarked anymore. Everything's been moved away, and we've just, we've got this amazing thing going on. We've got these dwarves, they're happy. We're going to go ahead and place the tables for the rest of this meeting hall. We got 3 more tables, and I guess that'll be fine, and we'll put 1 more right here, and then we're going to place our chairs. And now if you're thinking, hey, I bet you that all our work is done on the carpenter, we're all good. You're wrong, because there's one thing you can never have too many of in the carpenter's workshop, and that's bins and barrels. Food goes in barrels, and it keeps it safe from rats and stuff, and then lots of stuff can be sorted into bins so that you save space, because right now, without a bin, 1 object goes in 1 square, which is terribly inefficient. We have hundreds of objects, but because we're going to have bins, it'll be perfect. So we're going to go ahead and say N for bins, and we're going to make 4 bins, and then V for barrels. So we're going to add a task of V for barrels. Let's make 4 bins and 4 barrels out of the wood we have, because we have so much wood, right? Look, we're getting a lot more obsidian, which is really good, and we've already got Call awake and working on our floor, which is really, really cool. These dwarves are going to love the floor. It's going to be perfect. We're going to have a great scenario for them. Similarly, why don't we designate our meeting hall, where we're putting down all these tables and stuff, let's ask someone to go through and smooth and engrave the stone. Dwarves can go ahead and they can have artistic talent as well. And so if you ask a good engraver to go through and engrave the stone, well then the dwarves who come to the meeting hall are going to see these engravings and they're going to say, don't I live in someplace amazing? I live in this amazing dwarf fortress and I don't want to hear anything about how awesome, like how terrible it is. It's awesome here. I won't even think about how bad it is or how there isn't anything like that. Let's start though just by smoothing it. So let's go ahead and have this half of the meeting room smoothed down because then we can engrave it. And that's just kind of a generic task that a lot of people can do, but it's best done by a mason. We've got chairs coming in. We've got all these sorts of things. We've got a bunch more obsidian available, so we're just kind of getting things done over there. We've got a nice big floor coming in that'll soon be set up. We've got stockpiling. As soon as we're done with this next digging point, well then we'll be ready to start building our workshop. I also think that we should designate a small area off of here with the mining key, right? And let's go ahead and designate a little area right here, right? And then another little area right here. Actually, let's go like this. Let's make it. And we'll also connect that over here, and we'll connect that right here. What we'd like to do is have this meeting hall. Well, what good is a meeting hall if the dwarves can't enjoy excellent food and excellent drink? So we're going to make a small kitchen area and a food stockpile over here, which is why we're connecting it over here, because this will be a different stockpile just for food. So let's go ahead and let our dwarves dig for a moment. And the digging's done. Didn't take very long at all. So let's go ahead, pause the game, and let's get started on that kitchen. So we're going to build a workshop, and we're going to go ahead and select the kitchen out of that, which is just the Z key. The K key was already taken, so they kind of had to use the Z key. That's fine, though, because it's easy to find. And we're going to go ahead and put the kitchen right here. And we're going to make that kitchen out of wood, I think, just because we have a lot of wood. Let's go ahead and use it out of plumwood logs. That'll look lovely, I think. A nice plumwood log. We'd also like to build a door. A door. And so we'll probably have to build some more doors because we'd like to keep these all separate. We're going to add a new task and we're going to build some doors. And we're always just going to have a couple more bins going on and a couple more barrels because, of course, that's the thing. What we'd like to do next is we've got that kitchen. It'll start being put together in just a moment. But what we'd also like to do is designate a new stockpile. So we're going to go ahead and hit the P key for stockpiles. And we're going to hit the F. Very, very simple. That makes a food stockpile. Let's go over here and do that. Now, if we hit Q, we can go over to the stockpile, and we can change the settings with the S key. So you can see the upper right says S. We can go ahead and just remove food from that. So if I go down and then hit disable, now food is no longer valid in the stockpile. So we're going to move all that over to the other stockpile. And we're also going to, well, that's fine. We only have two stockpiles. You can actually set up how one stockpile feeds another, which is pretty cool, I think. Meanwhile, it looks like Call is really hard at work making this floor, and I've added a little bit more. We're going to have to dig out some more obsidian, but that's fine. So let's think about what we've accomplished so far. We've got a good start on a farm plot. We've got a custom area just for food. We've got, a whole wood industry going along, and just more wood than we know what to do with, really. We're going to start having to think about that pretty soon. We're going to need to next work on, I think, industry. And we also really want to do something about all this gold that we have down here, because come trading time, we want to make sure that we have valuable things to trade. And not just trinkets, but we'd like to have we'd like to pretend that we have a little bit of gold, but actually have a lot of gold. So we don't really know how much that is. We've also found gems on the ground and in the walls, so we're going to have to go through with that as well. Now, it's taking a little bit of time for our mason to get over to smoothing stone, probably either because we don't have someone set up with stone smoothing. Let's go ahead and take a look at this, the dwarf therapist. Let's see if we have anyone on stone smoothing. So let's take a look. We have no one on stone detailing. So like engravers, stuff like that. We could go ahead and put Call on that. So let's go ahead and click that. They have no experience with it, but they could do it. And then you'll note that just by clicking this on and off doesn't actually change anything. We have to go over here, right? And we actually have to tell it to commit the changes. So if we just go ahead and click this button down here, commit changes, right? We could clear the changes, we could expand, we could whatever. We can just commit the changes, boop. There. Now Call really has that labor. So now Call is basically in charge of rocks for us, which is a good role for a dwarf, I think. Let's bring these windows back up. And let's start building doors. We've got a door that we want to put here because we don't want the kitchen, you know, messing up everybody's day. We want to build door. How are we doing on that door, buddy? Are we building any doors? We got a couple doors. And as you can see, we don't have many idlers. We've got basically no idlers, although we can see a little fellow here bringing in stuff for meat. It's a long way around. And we've got our floor progressing at a pretty good progress, I think. So as soon as someone gets over here to build in the kitchen, I see we've got it done, we can go ahead and prepare some easy meals. Let's just prepare 3 or 4. Everybody can have a nice meal as soon as the chef gets in there. And that's good. The better the quality of meals you have, the less upset all your dwarves are. So we can see that our meeting hall is kind of a lively place now. And now it looks like Call has decided to abandon her current work on the floors to start working instead on smoothing the walls. I think that I'd rather have her work on the floor. Right? Is that Call or is that someone else? I think that's Call. Yeah. So Call, why don't you, first of all, are you, what are your pronouns, Calls? She. Okay, yeah, sure. So Call, I think that what we should do, that's right. I already checked you earlier. Let's go ahead and go back to Dwarf Therapist. And let's go ahead and turn off stone detailing for now, commit the changes. I want you to focus on other stuff, Call. So there, you can do this in-game, but I strongly recommend you use Dwarf Therapist. It's a much better interface. It's just easy. Let's click back over there and keep going. So Call, leave that alone. We've got some nice smooth walls, and eventually it'll look great for everybody. One of the reasons that you make your walls only 1 level thick is because you like to make sure that when you smooth stone or engrave stone, that you get kind of a double whammy. Because they engrave, if there's only 1 block, it's marked per block. So both sides kind of get the awesomeness of it. Yeah, so we'll see Call just continue to do their work. We've got all the food being separated out and put in other places. We can build our doors now. Put a door there and a door there. Now the next thing we want to do is make sure that our mine and our other places are well protected. If we're going to start mining gold, like right now there's no reason for anyone to rob us. We don't really have that much of value. We literally, the most valuable thing we have is an iron anvil, whatever. So, okay, cool. What we'd like to do instead is focus on building some workshops that let us build value. But before we do that, let's go ahead and build a mechanics workshop by going to B for build, W for workshops, and then we're going to go ahead and click the mechanics, which is T if I recall correctly, and we're going to put this mechanics workshop down in our big workroom. And we're going to make this not out of obsidian, we're going to make it out of custard apple wood. Sounds delicious. Okay, so that's going to go down. Let's also build a craft dwarfs workshop with R. So this is basically for dwarves that, you know, want to do cool stuff, etc., etc. They're going to be doing good stuff. We'll put that right there, and we'll make that out of the plum wood, which will look lovely, I think. Let's go ahead and let those things get done. We're going to build our craft dwarfs workshop to start improving the value of our world. But we're going to start building a mechanics workshop so that we can protect our world. That's right. The mechanics workshop will allow us to basically build traps and other cool things that will stop enemies from sneaking in. So we got to have multiple types of traps. And you can basically do a bunch of stuff. Now, it's really interesting that this still hasn't been built. I mean, come on. Really? Do I need to, like, get crazy with you here? Get crazy? Oh, look at that. They're putting food together. We got so much stuff going on. Ah, there we go. Finally, you make that last field. All right, and then we've got a mechanic working on the mechanics workshop. That's fantastic. So now we've got a mechanics workshop and a crafters workshop not quite ready.